Details about Chloe Price's role in Life is Strange Double Exposure were just shown for the first time, and fans are concerned. After an extended gameplay reveal last week showcased the start of Max's journey in Life is Strange Double Exposure, we got to learn some interesting bits about how Chloe fits into Max's life in the game, and the news doesn't exactly look great. The only references we've had to Chloe so far are this picture and a short video clip of Safi asking Max, "What's with the picture of the girl with the blue hair you keep in your wallet?" Other than that, she's surprisingly absent from all trailers. Considering the impact Max had on Chloe's life and vice versa, how the two had completely intertwined fates, it's crazy that Chloe has barely even been in the background of promotional materials for Double Exposure. Based on dialogue options we've seen, as well as hints at Max's new romance options in the game, fans have even begun to worry that Max and Chloe may have broken up somewhere between the events of Arcadia Bay and now Caledon University. So let's explore this theory. Are Max and Chloe still together? Before we get into this, most people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to my channel. If you do enjoy these kinds of videos, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more. It really helps me out. So where does the theory come from that Max and Chloe are broken up? There are a few details that point towards the two possibly being Splitsville, this photograph of Chloe being the first. The photo of Chloe must be from Arcadia Bay in 2013, likely taken by Max during their week together that we explored in the first game. After the events of the first game, it is impossible for both Arcadia Bay and Chloe to coexist at the same time. One must be dead. This has led many to believe that this may be one of the only photos Max has of Chloe. After all, why would she keep a photo of her current girlfriend after 10 years? Wouldn't she update the photo or have one of them together? And why would Safi have never heard of Chloe before? Even if Max is as secretive as we're led to believe, surely this would not be the first time her girlfriend came up in conversation. We're forced to confront a pretty grim reality, the idea that Max and Chloe may not be together again. Referencing the same photo, Safi asks Max about Chloe, about what the relationship between the two is like. Max's two options to respond with are, "We were friends," or "We were high school sweethearts." The use of the word "were" here has fans concerned. While this dialogue seems to separate people who finished Life is Strange 1 with Chloe as their friend versus girlfriend, both options here feature the past tense, as if they no longer speak. There's no dialogue option for, "Oh, she's my girlfriend." Again, if Chloe was a present thing in Max's life, Safi would likely already know about her. Max and Safi have known each other for around 6 months. This isn't the type of thing you keep hidden from your best friend for that long. Further still, when Max is talking to Moses in the extended gameplay trailer we saw, she expresses a little bit of a worrying philosophy. She imparts some words of wisdom about reaching a destination alone, and that being okay, in response to being asked about her photography.
I mean, I guess I'm not. It's more like, sometimes you reach the destination alone, and that's okay.
This is a pretty worrying philosophy for her to express when you remember that Max is currently a photographer in residence at the Caledon University in Vermont, with Chloe nowhere to be found. Could it be that Max broke up with Chloe after realizing she had different goals in mind, that she needed to reach her goal alone? We just don't know. It's a worrying dialogue nonetheless. Plus, the mention of other romance options that can be explored during Double Exposure doesn't exactly bode well for fans of Pricefield. If Max is able to forge connections with other characters in the game, what does that mean for her and Chloe's relationship? I can't exactly see Chloe being down with the idea of polyamory, knowing how jealous she's been in the past. Surely this kind of content won't solely be for people who chose to save the bay, especially if it's deep and meaningful in any way. Don't get me wrong, if Deck 9 are looking to boost the replay value of Double Exposure with deeper choice trees, I'd be down for that, but I'm just not sure if I see them doing it. So let's cut to the chase. Does this mean Max and Chloe are broken up? Do fans of Pricefield have anything to be worried about? Probably not. The tone I took from the Deck 9 developer livestream was that they aimed to be as respectful to as many players as possible, regardless of what ending they chose. Having Max and Chloe break up off-screen solely for budget reasons would invalidate the choice that around 50% of players, myself included, made at the end of the first game, to let an entire town burn for the person you love. Why on earth would you pick this ending if you knew that Max and Chloe were going to end things anyway, and that Chloe would be left without a single person in the world who cared about her, besides maybe Steph or David? Deck 9 know they need to keep Max and Chloe together. Revisiting the photo scene from earlier, there's a minor detail that many fans may not have picked up on. Look closely at the picture as Max walks with it in this frame, then compare the size and shape of that to the photograph shown in the close-up. One is a Polaroid, while the other is a print from a digital camera. The photo Max is holding in this scene is noticeably larger, and she doesn't seem as contemplative when she looks at it. If you zoom in very closely to the photo, you can make out just enough detail to notice that this is very likely the same photo found in David's trailer in Life is Strange 2. This photo is much more current, only around 4 or 5 years old as opposed to nearly 10, and features both girls together. Maybe not something you'd keep around if you were single and finished with a relationship. This points to the idea that there are 2 separate tracks to the game that have been recorded for promotional purposes that we've seen so far, one for sacrificing Chloe and another for sacrificing Arcadia Bay. It's likely that the scene of Max looking at the Polaroid of Chloe is the ending where she was sacrificed, and the other scene involves Max looking at a picture of the 2 of them together after Chloe survives. This theory gains even more traction when you think about the dialogue options I mentioned earlier. If Chloe is dead, it does make sense for Max to say we were friends or we were childhood sweethearts. She seems a little startled and taken aback, and like I mentioned earlier, it seems incredibly unlikely that Chloe would not have come up between Max and Safi unless it was a sore subject. I mean, how can you claim to be best friends with somebody and not know about their current living partner? It's likely that almost all of the promotional materials we've seen so far are for the Sacrifice Chloe ending, and the devs are keeping us in the dark about the Sacrifice Arcadia Bay path. Make no mistake, the developers keeping us in the dark on these things is very likely intentional. Chloe's role in Double Exposure has driven significant conversation over the internet over the last few days, and has undoubtedly contributed massively to the speculation and overall marketing of the game. Deck 9 and Square Enix aren't stupid. They're well aware that all mentions of Chloe were going to be the most discussed element of the livestream, and so rather than spell it out for us, they're sprinkling little hints into their videos and stringing us along. And given how close we are to the game's release, it's unlikely that they'll show anything until the game itself comes out. My theory? I disagree with the notion that Chloe won't feature in Double Exposure. I don't think she'll show up until the later episodes or even the ending, but I do have faith that Deck 9 are going to nail some fan service moments with Chloe throughout the game. I think it's very likely that since Max has only been at Caledon University for 6 months, she's taken up an artist-in-residence position for the time being, while Chloe is off elsewhere doing something else. I think it's likely that we'll receive texts from her throughout the game, maybe even phone calls. We'll see photos of the 2 together, and Max will comment about memories she has of her and Chloe. It seems like her revealing her past and coming to terms with the trauma of Arcadia Bay might be a bit of a theme in this game, and no doubt we'll learn some more about what's happened in the time between Blackwell Academy and Caledon University. If Max is currently on a placement at Caledon for, let's say, a year, it's likely that we'll see Chloe in the game's ending. Think about it. Deck 9 loves flash-forward endings. Before the Storm's ending showed Rachel and Chloe getting tattoos together and the years passing by for their relationship, while True Colors showed Alex going through the winter months in Haven Springs and then her performance at next year's Spring Festival a year later. I think it's likely we'll see something of a reunion scene between Max and Chloe in the game's ending once Max is finished at Caledon, and you know, I'd be totally happy with that. The game's main focus should be on the new story and cast of characters, don't get me wrong, but Chloe needs to be acknowledged as a current presence in Max's life, and I think Deck 9's best way of doing this is to have Max and Chloe temporarily in different life circumstances, going long distance for a year while Max does something she's always dreamed of. This would add to the "we're always together, even when we're not" motif, which was established in Deck 9's prequel DLC Farewell, and I could even see this line of dialogue being used as a callback in Double Exposure. It's very likely that Chloe's presence or reveal could be teased throughout the game to have a big payoff when we finally see her in the ending. This would be great if Deck 9 is unable to get Ashley Birch back to reprise her role, as Chloe wouldn't even need to have voiced lines. I think this is genuinely the only way Deck 9 can do things at the moment. They can't change the game too drastically if Chloe is alive, because featuring her too heavily would mean that the game would be inaccessible to new fans, and they'd basically have to develop 2 versions of the same title, one with Chloe and one without, which they're already doing with the reality jumping. I do think, however, the changes we'll see will be sprinkled throughout each episode, definitely more significant than Life is Strange 2 for example, which only slightly altered 2 scenes depending on your choice at the end of the first game. So there you have it, Max and Chloe are likely going to be just fine. Deck 9 and Square Enix are just doing some clever marketing to keep us guessing and speculating at the minute. I hope we get some good news in October, but more so, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content just like this, and leave a comment down below. What do you think Deck 9 will do with Chloe? Do you think they'll stay together, or do you think a breakup might be on Max's character development bingo card? Let me know. I read all of your comments and I even use them as inspiration for my future videos. If you want to show your support in the form of a tip, I've also linked my Patreon down in the description. And why not join our Discord server? It's a pretty steadily growing community where we discuss all things Life is Strange. With that, I think I've said my piece. Thank you so much for watching, remember to check on your Pricefield shipping friends in this uncertain time, and have a nice day. Bye bye.